this is his second year with Brian Dutcher in San Diego State, but he is still yet to play in an NCAA tournament game. Oh, excuse me, he played an NCAA tournament game last year. I mean, before he came to San Diego State.
Sure.
He came here with the goal of playing on the biggest stage, and he finally got that opportunity last year.
Mashburn in and out. Powell the rebound. Mashburn hit the game-winning bucket to beat Nevada earlier this week.
What a game that was.
Every game in the Mountain West feels like a classic. Powell, reverse lay-in, no.
It really does seem like it. And we expect this one to come down to the final minute.
Strong take, and Dent can't get it. It's funny, in many ways, these two teams are known for defense, but just complete polar opposite defense.
Yeah, and kind of what they do, you mean, right? Their strengths defensively? Yeah, I agree with that.
We got a good start here in San Diego. Jalen House getting things going for New Mexico. The fans letting them hear it early. 7-7 out of the jump. They say road teams can't win at San Diego State. Well, New Mexico had a little something to say about that a year ago. Again, 35 games. They're 34-1. The one was this Lobo team that came in and Jalen House just took over.
Oh, he had 29 points and was doing it a variety of ways. When they switched off, he took on Ledee and Mensa and everybody and was talking trash the entire time while he was doing it too. And when I watch Jalen House, I've been following his career, his entire college career. He started his first 2 years at Arizona State where his father, Eddie House, played. And really has found a home here in New Mexico under Richard Pitino. Jalen House is as much fun to watch on the defensive end as he is on the offensive end. A truly complete player who plays with more passion than anybody I can think of in a college game.
My one question for Jalen House, where does anyone get this kind of energy? He is non-stop on the floor as he has the ball right now.
I hear you. You got to be born with that, I think. That's not something that can be taught.
Amseal's really stepped up in conference and steps into a three to get New Mexico up by 3.
Yeah, Amseal's a guy that was brought in to be a pick-and-pop forward shooter and got off to a brutal start from 3. Really couldn't find his rhythm until about 3 weeks ago. And Mustafa Amseel, 6'9". It's not built wide, but he can do this. This is what he's looking for. He's hunting the three-point line, and it's a matchup problem.
Timeout called by Brian Dutcher, and man, how good has the Mountain West been all year long? They're talking maybe 6 teams that get into the NCAA tournament out of this conference. Of course, when you have a team like San Diego State that gets the national title game a year ago, pretty good start. They're the only conference this year, every team over 500 in non-conference play, and you just look at that net right now, to have 4 of the top 30, that's really impressive.
Yeah, 6 teams, and I agree with this. You're taking a look at the top ranking of the net, which stands for the NCAA evaluation tool that the NCAA selection committee uses. In 2013, that was the gold standard for the Mountain West. They got 5 teams. That's the record. This year, they are going to break that record. And you mentioned San Diego State's Final Four run last year was huge for the San Diego State program, but let's be honest, it was huge for this entire Mountain West Conference. Sure. It just raised the profile of it nationally.
And if you're new to West Coast basketball, get excited about what you're seeing in the Mountain West, and we have a really good example of the very best of the West here tonight.
Wow, that's Mustafa Amseel, who is doing yeoman's work down there, work that I don't want any part of, trying to front Jaden Ledee. Watch him, 22 in red, just doing whatever he can. There's a lot of arm wrestling going on here. He's trying to front, fight around. I'm not sure how in the world they could call a foul right there. How else are you supposed to guard him?
Good luck. Powell through the lane. No good. Gets his own rebound and gets a whistle of his own.
Oh, there's
an offensive foul on Powell.
Wow, all right. I think he was trying to swing his elbows a little bit to create room. Let's take another look at this. Oh, wow.
Boy.
That's a bad call right there. We'll play on. Obviously, Brian Dutcher, his job is to be with the referees right now, but if you're a San Diego State Aztec player, you got to move on.
Mashburn up top. Slips off the rim. Going to be New Mexico basketball. Now, these Aztec fans here are not used to seeing the whistle not go their way here at Viejas. And you can hear the fans laying into the guys in stripes.
Continue to get Jaden Ledee touches and play inside out. You almost always get an advantage when you do that.
A lot of space for Parrish.
Well, he can also, and I'm talking about Jaden Ledee, also a very good screener. That wide body, those wide shoulders. If you're a guy like Michael Parrish, set up your cuts. You're going to be open.
I mean, the guy's a defensive end that's playing center for you.
Sure is. I've played a few players like that who are built like NFL tight ends. They're not a lot of fun, trust me.
Dan gets his pocket picked by Powell. Powell coast to coast, all the way to the basket, goes down hard, and he'll get free throws.
Well, let's go back to the previous possession. Watch Jaden Ledee, who's always a post-up threat, but watch him. He is heat-seeking. Where's number 5 in red? He knows exactly. He's looking. All right, I have that space, and I'm going to move just enough to not get an illegal screen, but enough to clip him. He's a big man that I would love to play with, man.
Jaden Ledee, just a force inside. So now Jay Powell at the line here, who made a start a couple of games ago.
Yeah, I was on the sideline for that game against Utah State, Trent.
Yeah.
He was a surprise starter, hadn't started a game all year, and then goes out and was everywhere, man.
Sure.
There was like there were 2 Jay Powells out there, even hit 2 threes. Incredible.
Since then, Powell went back to the bench, had to work himself back into favor, and has found himself back in the starting lineup tonight. You know, one thing San Diego State was doing as well, they were playing a lot of 4-guard sets, but against this matchup with New Mexico, wanted to have that extra big, and Powell already proven to make an impact in this game, and this is the free throw.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Brian Dutcher is one of those coaches who really doesn't care about who's starting. It's almost like just whatever we got to do to adjust to get the right combination to win.
House gets the roll. New Mexico by 3, 12-9. House already with 7.
3 seconds in the lane for the D right there, by the way.
Scores anyway.
Well, if you allow him 7 seconds, you are doomed. I'll tell you that from the start. But he was posted up for a solid 5 seconds before that pass even got in there.
Jamal Baker. Here comes House. That was Toppin trying to roll the basket. True Washington can't get it.
True Washington, one of the 3 underclassmen. True Washington, number 3 in red, is a freshman. And Richard Pitino's got 3 underclassmen that play.
Ledee can shoot the 3 and shows it off right there. Ledee from distance doesn't make a lot of them, but enough to where you got to respect it.
Hey, he kind of has a funky release, and it's very much a flat shot. Doesn't have a lot of arc. But hey, when you're at home, let it fly.
Looking for a response is Baker. Rattles out.
That ball was halfway in.
That Ledee trade just gave San Diego State the lead, and now they're trying to build on it here in what's been a back-and-forth start here in San Diego. Waters, the USC transfer. Fall away 2 short.
I thought Reese Waters could have pulled the trigger on that first catch-and-shoot opportunity and made it more difficult. By the way, that was a travel. They're calling for it. If your feet slide like that on the basketball floor, that should be an automatic travel.
It's House looking for the mismatch as Toppin was trying to seal, just couldn't hold them off long enough.
Well, Jaden Ledee, you're so concerned about him near the bucket. He gets deep post touches, it's going to be 2 points. But what you're not worried about is him on the outside. Or are you? Jaden Ledee for 3.
The Stars been showing up here in San Diego so far. Aztecs by a bucket here. 12 minutes to go in the first half. So far, Jaden Ledee doing some damage.
Yeah, and look, what he did last year as a role player, a bench guy, cannot compare to what he's done. He is now truly a star. But let's take a look at his form, which is unorthodox on the jump shot. Jaden LeDee catches the ball with two. He brings up, and then he releases that left hand, that guide hand. He releases it earlier than most shooters. And his shot is a little bit flat. It has a flatter trajectory, but on that one, it went down. Previous 4 seasons, I mentioned he started his career at Ohio State and played 2 years at TCU. And then last year, 0 threes. And now 13. He's 13 for 32 from behind the arc this season as a fifth-year senior.
Absolutely respectable. He's got 8 so far for New Mexico. Jalen House has 7 points. He's made all 3 of his shots, but well, the rest of the Lobos, 1 for 8. It's Lamont Butler who has it for San Diego State right now. Saunders was a starter earlier in the year. Is now taking more of a bench role. Saunders underneath, gets it. Off the bench and scores 2 points to extend the Aztec lead.
Both these teams have deep benches, more than capable of inserting guys and scoring.
San Diego State on a 7-0 run to take a 4-point lead here on their home floor as they get a stop down low, 16-12. Aztecs leading the Lobos, 2 of the best in the Mountain West Conference. Tonight here on FS1 as Waters scores for San Diego State, a 9-0 run as the Aztecs have things going here on the Montezuma Mesa. He's Casey Jacobson. My name is Trent Rush. Big time matchup in this league tonight. 2 potential tournament teams. Baker in the corner. Can't answer the call.
I've been looking forward to this game, Trent, for over a week. These are 2 of the best, and New Mexico is more than capable of coming in and beating this San Diego State team who was undefeated here at Viejas Arena. They did it last year, and they already beat them at the pit this year.
These 2 teams chasing Utah State by a game atop the Mountain West standings. A league that could get as many as 6 teams into the NCAA tournament this year. San Diego State and New Mexico would be 2 of them.
This is what I call an oil and water matchup, too. New Mexico, they want to run up and down. They are dynamic offensively, and San Diego State wants it to be like this, a grind-out half-court game.
JT Toppin on the offensive glass gets the rebound putback.
Yes. JT Toppin, who's a freshman. It's his first basket of the game, and New Mexico so far, Trent, has been crushed on the glass. They need to compete there.
Jaden LeDee gets stuffed by Washington. A jump ball. The arrow belongs to San Diego State, but how about True Washington? Get up.
A freshman taking on the physical challenge that is Jaden LeDee. Watch him go up. He goes straight up until Jaden LeDee shows him the ball. Watch. He goes up, and then, oh, there's the ball. I'm just going to put 2 hands on it. Really well done there. And put Jaden LeDee in a headlock, too, for good measure.
Jaden LeDee, National Player of the Year contender, who's the Mountain West leading scorer this year, over 20 points a night.
That sentence that you said is accurate, Trent, but is such a surprise. Jaden LeDee is one of the best players in the country. Incredible.
A couple of buckets from Waters. San Diego State is rolling, now up by 6. They made 4 in a row. Aztecs have missed 6 of 7.
Jalen House, who's leading New Mexico in scoring in this game so far, is on the bench right now.
Toppin underneath, big time slam.
Well, that was Miles Bird, number 21 in white, who was drawing the assignment there on Toppin, and he risked going for that steal. And when you do that in the low post, if you don't get it, that is going to be a dunk.
The Aztecs are very familiar with JT Toppin, the Lobo freshman. Had 17 and 16 in the first matchup, a game in which New Mexico won by 18 points at the pit earlier this year.
Yeah, let's go back to that last defensive possession for San Diego State. Miles Bird, number 21 in white. Watch him go for this suicide steal. You cannot risk it. Be more, just solid. Play behind a guy. You'll get help. Otherwise, there is no help for a direct pass dunk.
4-point game, less than 9 minutes remaining here in the first half. In front of a capacity crowd here at Viejas Arena. San Diego State, in their last 35 games, their home floor, they've won 34 of them. The one loss was this New Mexico team last season. Jalen House got loose. 29 points for House to get the road win. Heidi down low. On the dish from Bird.
Well, Bird makes up for that defensive mistake. A really beautiful pass over the top of the defense by Bird. And this is important minutes for San Diego State. Without Jaden Ledee, who's on the bench right now, they are a different team on the offensive end.
Amstel got hit on his trip. He's on the floor.
Well, Miles Bird, he only averages 4 points a game. They don't run a lot of plays for him. Normally, these are, Lamont Butler screen and rolls and dribble handoffs. But watch the connectivity right here. And no help at all. And I like where that pass was delivered. It was high, right to the target hand. Led him right to the basket.
Donovan Dent, another one of the biggest surprises in the league, gets his shot blocked. Butler trying to pick it up, still free. Toppin, who ends up with it. 7 seconds for Washington. No reset. He's got a fire. Left it short. For those of you watching on FS2, you can switch over to FS1 to watch the remainder of this game. It has been an electric atmosphere here in San Diego. Saunders scores, and the Aztecs extend their lead to 8.
Interesting choice for San Diego State, going down low to the post for Elijah Saunders, who's much more comfortable as a three-point shooter. Ooh.
Bird to swat. Amstel, air ball. 3-on-2. Bird. Transition tray. 20 for these San Diego State fans to cheer about here at Viejas Arena. The Aztecs on a 7-0 run. Miles Bird getting hot.
Yeah, and with Jaden Ledee, their leading scorer, getting a rest, you thought, who would step up? I didn't think it was going to be Miles Bird on both ends. He's got a block in this one. And how about this? The last 4 games for Miles Bird, 0 assists and 8 combined points. And he's already got 3 points and 3 assists in just a few minutes on the floor. You love it if you're Brian Dutcher when the others come ready to play.
Miles Bird had 13 against New Mexico in the first matchup. I guess he just likes meeting up with the Lobos. In that game, it was New Mexico that closed out the first half on an 18-1 run. And we just saw San Diego State right now on an 18-4 run here in this one. And a turnover coming out of the timeout. Can't do that.
And Heidi, by the way, super active. Dove on the floor for no reason, by the way. The ball was, there wasn't anybody around. He just dove on it for fun, trying to get his jersey dirty. I respect you. He can score. Waters can score. I mean, Trent, any which way you want. Reese Waters, who was the Pac-12 Sixth Man of the Year last year at USC. I have followed this young man's career since he came on board with Andy Enfield's team, and Brian Dutcher was more than happy to welcome him, a two-way potential star.
Well, and he's been starting him and brought him off the bench here tonight, so I guess more familiar in that six-man role. Offensive rebound. Mashburn trying to create. That was Dent who missed. Boy, Lobos just can't buy a bucket right now.
Yeah, really. Besides the hot start for Jalen House, who had 7 of their first, I believe, 9 points for New Mexico, the backcourt has been silent.
Butler now doesn't get it. Jalen House, 3 of 3. The rest of the Lobos, 3 for 20.
Whoa. And this is a team that is backcourt oriented. So Jalen House, who has the ball, Jamal Mashburn Jr., and Donovan Dent, they all average at least 15 points a game.
House blocked by Bird. Saunders picks it up. San Diego State is just dominating every facet here as this one's a turnover. Dent, coast to coast, and a pick six land.
On a rare mistake from San Diego State's Lamont Butler, who is normally very sure-handed with the basketball. He got a couple of Aztec guards who rarely turn the ball over.
Now an illegal screen sent by Saunders, so that's going to be a turnover as New Mexico gets the ball back. And the thing about that run for San Diego State, that was with Jaden Ledee on the bench as he returns.
That's a great sign. If you're an Aztec fan here at Viejas Arena, you probably were worried about, hey, how would our team look against this very talented New Mexico Lobo team when our star goes to the bench? But they've extended the lead. And Brian Dutcher saw enough. This is like basically a platoon chain. Like, we playing hockey? We put like 5 new dudes in.
Dent coughed it up. Now 3-on-2. Parrish gets to the bucket. New Mexico's a streaky team, but part of that has been some of the negative streaks as well. Toppin is trying to get things going for New Mexico right now. He's got 6.
If you haven't seen JT Toppin play, you are missing out. Stay with us and keep an eye on number 15 in red, who's basically wrapped up the Mountain West Freshman of the Year award. I think he's been the Mountain West Freshman of the Week 7 times already.
Yeah, there's some UNLV fans that maybe push back a little bit on that, but it's Toppin. Toppin's the guy.
Talking about Didon Thomas?
I am.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't respect Didon.
Ledee hit one earlier, left that one short. But no, Toppin is no
he would
question.
get my vote today. Yeah. But yeah, Didon definitely deserves mention for the running Rebels, point guard. But there's so many good point guards, by the way, in the Mountain West. That's the one position that is loaded in this conference.
House is one of them. Kicks the legs out on the shot that drew nothing but air. One of the best atmospheres in all of college basketball at their best tonight. It's a blackout here at Viejas, and they got a lot to cheer about here in San Diego. Aztecs up 11. Tomorrow on Fox Primetime Hoops, it's another chapter in a Big Ten rivalry as Tyson Walker leads Michigan State in a showdown against Michigan. It all tips off at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Been an interesting year in the Big Ten so far. Of course, Purdue has been so good this year, but Michigan State very much in the mix. Been a tough year, no doubt, for the Wolverines.
Well, what's interesting, look at the very bottom of this Big Ten basketball. Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan are the bottom 3 teams in men's basketball. Those were the top teams in men's football this year. So kind of like just kind of bizarro world if you're a Big Ten sports fan. What's going on with the basketball programs?
Toppin's got 8 points and just got a takeaway right there, and maybe he's the spark for New Mexico. Here late in this first half, down 11. Gets an offensive rebound and the putback. So he's in double figures, and all of a sudden the Lobos are within 9.
Yeah, and offensive rebounding is one of the strengths of the Lobos. Their last game, a win at Nevada, they had 13 offensive rebounds, and in the first matchup between these two teams, the Lobos had 14 offensive rebounds.
Powell able to get it right back on the other side.
There's a few guys in this game, Trent, that really need activity to make an impact. Jay Powell is one of those guys. JT Toppin, certainly Jalen House out there. These are guys that are like emotional leaders for their teams.
Amstel able to swing it to Mashburn. Can't get the offensive rebound, but a foul here. And that's going to be on Powell, but Toppin, my goodness, I mean, where he ranks among freshmen, every category, he has been the man in the Mountain West.
Yeah, these are national freshman ranks, not just like the Mountain West, folks. So what you're looking at is truly special and rare. 8 double-doubles, and this is a team that is talented. It's not like New Mexico's a bad team. He's just a good player putting up really great numbers. He's been vital to this team's success. And this team, if you watched New Mexico last year, they weren't nearly as tough on the glass. They weren't nearly as tough protecting the rim, and JT Toppin has changed a lot of that.
Butler poked it away. Saunders picked it up. So another turnover by New Mexico. Their 5th. Now a whistle off ball. That's going to be on Toppin, who has hanging on to Jaden Ledee down low.
Every guy who goes up against Jaden Ledee just hanging on for dear life. It's like trying to ride a fucking Bronco down there, man. He'll just throw you around. And if you're not careful, I feel like you have to be physical, but you have to show the referee your hands. If you start to get grabby, Jaden Ledee is smart enough. He will make you pay for that.
As Toppin goes to the bench, I mean, again, we're talking about one of the best freshmen in America. This guy was essentially a three-star recruit, didn't get a whole lot of attention. Richard Pitino was on him early, stayed with him, and started to get a little bit of attention later in his high school career, but has emerged. I don't know that anybody saw this kind of a season coming for Toppin. Mashburn trying to get his game going tonight. Nelly Jr. Joseph can't hang on to the pass.
Yeah, it was Jamal Baker. Kind of threw that one like a laser beam, a little too hot, too much mustard on that one. And I was always taught to enter into the post, you got to kind of take a beat and make sure that you deliver it right where the big man is asking for it. Like that. That's another too hot to handle pass.
You can't give House an inch. Draws the whistle on Trammell.
You hear the boos, folks. Get used to those. This is a physical game, right? Every which way. It's going to be a fast game for New Mexico. They want it to be up and down. But you go for those shot fakes, and Jalen House knows how to get fouled and go to the line. I've never met a good scorer that didn't love getting to the foul line.
You see Jalen House's numbers on the season. He's a catalyst in so many ways. Also good for about 2.5 steals a night. Misses the free throw. They're enjoying that.
Well, so this goes back. There's some history between Jalen House and these fans here last year. You already mentioned how good he was last year in their win. He had 29 points. But Jalen House got a technical foul in that game for talking smack to the show, which is the nickname for the student section here at Viejas. And so, yeah, they were ready. When he came in the building, they were ready to boo him.
House, who grew up a wrestling fan, likes being the villain. He embraces that. When he steps onto the hardwood, he just becomes a different guy. He's kind of a quiet-natured individual, but you put him on a basketball court, nothing quiet about him.
And watch him play defense. He's more of like a center fielder or a rover.
Ledee with the up and under gets hit, so free throw's coming.
Jaden Ledee, he's got a deep bag in the post, as the kids like to say. The nice shot fake, and he can't make that medium range, and that's why a lot of defenders will go for that shot fake. I would still rather have Jaden Ledee shooting a 17-footer than driving to the rim.
Ledee, a 73% free throw shooter, gets that one. And as advertised, Ledee, 9 points so far here in this game, has been good.
He's been good every game. Honestly, yeah. I've watched San Diego State play nearly every game this year. Jaden Ledee is consistent. That's the difference between a good college basketball player and an elite or star college basketball player. Jaden Ledee has scored at least 13 points in every single game this season.
And New Mexico had that 12-9 lead, and it has been all Aztec since. House with something to say about it. Hits the three, points to the crowd. Reminding everybody, don't wake up Jalen House.
He needs to be careful, though. The referees are on him. But he wants that matchup against Ledee.
Underneath, Ledee, way up. Of course, it's Ledee who gets it back. Uses the trunk stick and scores.
Jalen House dribbled that ball from baseline to the free throw line in about 2.5 seconds. Man, there might not be a faster player with the ball in his hands than number 10. It's impressive. It would be hard to kind of control that, right? It'd be like a Ferrari on a racetrack. How do you corral that? How do you put the brakes on it?
Well, when you watch Jalen House, I mean, you could say, well, wait a minute, this guy, a little out of control, creating a lot of chaos. But in that, you got to be able to handle it if you're the opposition. I think it probably would be tough as a teammate to handle it, as you can see him saying, bring it. Bring it, Viejas. Gotta like a showman.
I do, and I'm here for it, man. We are in the entertainment business, the interesting business, and Jalen House is certainly that. I do feel old. Jalen House is the son of Eddie House. Played in the NBA for the Boston Celtics, but played his college career at Arizona State. When I was at Stanford, I had not the pleasure of trying to slow down Eddie House. He had a quick trigger, man. Jalen is not as good of a three-point shooter as his dad, but certainly a much better defensive player.
Few work.
Yeah.
Ledee able to respond with a bucket. 14 first-half points for Jaden Ledee, who has led the charge for the Aztecs, up 11. And New Mexico has just had no answer for Ledee inside.
Very few people do. You have to double team, but if you allow him a catch deep in the paint, 2 feet, and you don't double team, that's a fadeaway. That's actually the one shot that you would want him to take if he gets deep low post position, but he can make it. You average 21 points a game. You don't have a lot of offensive weaknesses.
They're on their feet here at Viejas. Final possession of the first half. Donovan Dent poked loose. 3 seconds. Burned. Knocked away by House, who doesn't get it off in time. But San Diego State, who's 17-0 this year, when up at the half, is going to take an 11-point lead into the break.
Whenever I describe San Diego State's style of man-to-man defense, I call it stuff you in a closet. And that's what they did to the Lobos. Lobos shot just 32% in that first half.
28 first-half points for New Mexico, their second lowest total all season. It's been a matchup of stars who have risen to the occasion. Ledee stealing the show, 14 in the opening 20 minutes. Plenty more from Viejas coming up. Oh, it's been mayhem here atop Montezuma Mesa. 39-28, San Diego State leading New Mexico here at the half. And Jalen House trying to get things going for New Mexico early on.
He is the emotional leader for this Lobo squad. He made his first 3 shots to try and give them a rhythm. He's got a team high 11 points, but no one else is showing up. Meanwhile, Jaden Ledee, I call him the human wrecking ball of basketball, but he's got touch around the basket. He's got a game-high 14 on an efficient 5 of 6 shooting, including his 13th made three-pointer of the season. So, you know, San Diego State's successful formula this season, Trent, has been play suffocating man-to-man defense, check. Play through Jaden Ledee, check. That's why the Aztecs are winning this one.
And if you're New Mexico, you got to get your other guys going. After the break, Rob Stone takes a look at tomorrow's Fox quadruple header, including a feature with Marquette's Shaka Smart. That's after this. Jalen House got things going early on for New Mexico, as he had no problem waking up the fans here at Viejas Arena, who are happy to give it to him. And that maybe led to Jaden Ledee, 14 points, knocking him down from outside, using his force inside. Ledee doing it all for San Diego State, who has an 11-point lead here at halftime. And how about those numbers jumping out at you, Casey? 30% better than San Diego State was from the floor than New Mexico.
Yeah, you feel like New Mexico's probably lucky to be down just this many, right? With the way the San Diego State offensively shot the ball.
When you're looking at this matchup, I think you knew coming in the guard play was going to be important for New Mexico. They haven't necessarily gotten it from guys beyond Jalen House tonight.
If you want to win on the road here at San Diego State, your stars have to show up, and I mean all of them. JT Toppin and Jalen House are getting the job done. How about the rest of the squad? The rest of New Mexico's backcourt has got to get involved. You see those numbers, but more specifically, Jamal Mashburn and Donovan Dent, those two, who both average over 15 points a game, are a combined 1 for 12 from the field and have 4 turnovers.
It is worth noting Donovan Dent did roll an ankle at the end of the Nevada game. He's maybe playing through a little bit of pain tonight. JT Toppin draws a reach in. That's going to go against Powell. Oh, they'll decide. Yep, Powell ultimately is who the foul's going to be on. It's between him and Parrish, but
You mentioned that New Mexico's win against Nevada was so gritty because they were trailing for the majority of that second half. It almost felt like they stole it in the last minute. Back-to-back threes by Jamal Mashburn Jr. with under a minute. He got that win. And that's a nice response here. Look, Richard Pitino on the floor clapping for JT Toppin, who's just a grinder down there on the offensive boards.
That was one thing I know Brian Dutcher emphasizing to his team at halftime. They have to do a better job with defensive glass. That's the 8th offensive rebound that San Diego State's allowed in this game. And you don't want to give up second chances and allow the Lobos to get back in it.
There's been a lot of instances where New Mexico's best offense has actually been a missed shot. I know that sounds weird, but in their last game against Nevada, 13 offensive rebounds. And in the first matchup between these two, New Mexico lived on the offensive glass. Second chance points, keep an eye on them here.
Toppin had 17 and 16 in the win at the Pit in the first matchup. He already has 12 and 6 here tonight.
Trent, the only thing that JT Toppin did not do well in the first matchup, he was 1 for 10 at the foul line. Everything else, though, he was just an animal.
Sure. That's a great point. Indeed, trying to get around Junior Joseph. Stop, pop, can't score.
How about the help from Donovan Dent, who basically left Darion Trammell to double-team Jaden Ledee 18 feet from the rim.
Mashburn from way deep. Just couldn't quite get it.
You could tell he wanted it, too. He's desperate to get on the board. He doesn't have one field goal, but he wants more.
There's Butler and an illegal screen on Powell. As Jalen House was in the neighborhood, earned the whistle.
Watch number 4 in white, and if you're going to mess around with Jalen House, he will sell contact better than anybody you know. There was contact, though. That was an illegal screen, but Jalen House, you talk about how he loved WWE wrestling growing up. That was like a WWE fall right there.
That's also the third on Powell, which no doubt is notable. Toppin the up and under, wills it over the front of the rim.
Yeah, and Powell could not do anything. He does not want to foul. Brian Dutcher's got to go and get him out of there, or if you're New Mexico, continue to feed JT Toppin on that block.
Trammell, strong take, doesn't get the call. Toppin the rebound, and now here comes New Mexico. Junior Joseph couldn't hang on to the pass.
Yeah, it just took forever to get there. Junior Joseph was open for about 3 seconds, but yeah, it was just too late.
Trammell now sliding into the lane.
Pass.
All alone. Parrish with the miss, but a second chance coming for San Diego State. Butler now to the rack. Boy, a lot of contact, no whistle. Powell finally gets one, and Powell's going to go to the line.
And we're talking about Jay Powell's got 4 fouls, and you know that if you're New Mexico. And so does JT Toppin. Watch him just basically concede this basket. Very little resistance. That actually could have been his 5th foul. Honestly, he was not straight up there. There wasn't a ton of contact, but I've seen a lot, less contact be called in the post. Jay Powell's got to be careful here. Jay Powell just starting for the second time this season. His first start came 2 weeks ago here against Utah State, and he was incredible. His best game in an Aztec uniform, 16 points, including 2 threes. Defensively, he was everywhere.
So the free throw is good. 9-point game. New Mexico trying to set the tone here in this third quarter, which early on was a bit problematic. Junior Joseph able to fly to the basket and gets his first points.
Really well done. I haven't seen that on film from Nelly Junior Joseph. That was a fake handoff.
And then New Mexico forces the turnover as Dent able to somehow keep it. And now an illegal screen is going to go on Junior Joseph.
And he gives one and he takes one away. Nelly Junior Joseph, number 23. Watch him. He's going to go into a dribble handoff and then fake. Nope, I'm not going into a dribble handoff. I'm driving it right to the rim and caught Jaden Ledee asleep at the wheel there. I have not seen him make that move all season. I like that when I see something new. Gets me all excited.
Junior Joseph playing with 3 fouls now. Of course, he played for Richard's dad, Rick, at Iona last year. Good post player.
Right, along with Danis Jenkins, who's the starting point guard for the St. John's Red Storm. Iona was good last year.
Ledee with all kinds of traffic. Gets the whistle and will go back to the line. And, well, how about all the bodies hanging on Jaden Ledee underneath?
Yeah, a double team isn't enough. How about we bring a third red uniform? 1, 2, 3, all surrounding Ledee, and somehow, some way, he's going to find his way to the foul line.
And now that's the 4th on Nelly Junior Joseph, and that's a big foul for a player that is being tasked with trying to slow down Ledee tonight.
Well, Jaden Ledee averages over 7 fouls drawn. Jaden Ledee and Utah State center Great Osibor are number 1 and number 2 in that category, fouls drawn. They're just so physical, and their team runs plays for them, and they seek contact. They're good arm wrestlers in there. They know all the tricks.
Ledee able to convert.
He's hitting his free throws tonight, too.
5 of 6, about a 70%, a little better than that, 73% foul shooter on the season. House, not a lot of space, draws the contact, and he's going to get 3 free throws after Trammell ran into him on the landing.
And Trammell's mad. He's claiming that Jalen House kicked out his leg. Let's see, Trammell lock and trail position, and I'm actually with him. His leg comes up, his right leg. Watch Jalen House's right leg kicks out a little bit more than normal right there and holds it.
What's Trammell supposed to do?
Yeah, you're right. Well, you got to get out of his way completely if you don't want to get that foul. But I believe that was a bad call, that the referees got fooled there. It's hard. Those are bang-bang plays, Trent.
So after missing the first, House able to get the second. House and Toppin have not been the issue for New Mexico tonight. House with a dozen, Toppin 14. It's been everything else. And, for Denton Ashburn, who combined for over 30 points a night, those guys with 2 right now between them. And that's on 1 for 13 shooting.
But you just stay within striking distance. If you know anything about this New Mexico team, they are explosive. They're balanced. 5 different Lobos have scored 26 points or more in a single game. There's only 2 teams in the country that can say that, New Mexico and Louisville. They're explosive.
The front doesn't quite work on Ledee, and then Toppin got a little bit of wrist.
I think that's a good foul. Toppin doesn't want to get in foul trouble. Obviously, if he's in foul trouble, that wouldn't be a good foul. But you don't allow Jaden Ledee to get a dunk, get this crowd back into it, make him earn it at the foul line. 3 fouls now on JT Toppin.
That's a good point you bring up, Casey, because if Ledee gets that throwdown, the roof was ready to pop off here at Viejas. And considering the struggles in the backcourt for New Mexico, the foul trouble for New Mexico, for San Diego State to only be up by 7 right now, you'd have to wonder, if you're the Aztecs, you feel like you've been dominating this game, why don't you have a bigger lead, which now goes to 8?
I'm with you on that. That was my comment at the halftime break. If you shoot over 60% on your home floor, you would expect to be up 15, like about that. And right now, it's an 8-point difference. Feels like New Mexico has not played well at all offensively. This is the matchup they like.
House on Ledee, kicks the legs, doesn't get the call this time, but gets the bucket.
He would be so frustrating to play against. He really would. Look at him. He's talking to everybody that'll listen out here.
Out to Butler. The quiet confidence sparks some noise here in Viejas.
Well, sometimes Jalen House gets lost on the defensive end. He likes to be kind of a rover, and he takes chances, and he got burnt.
Baker, fall away 2 missed. Think about the point guard matchup, Butler and House, polar opposite basketball players that reflect their programs in so many ways.
Yeah, they're built differently too, right? Lamont Butler, not really a true point guard, but look at how stout he is, how strong he is.
Couldn't convert that time on the take.
He doesn't define himself as a scorer, Lamont Butler.
Donovan Dent Can't buy one.
That's the buckets that have been going in the basket regularly for Donovan Dent, number 2, the leading scorer for the Lobos. Both Dent and Jalen House are tied at 15.6 points a game.
And you make the case that on the season, Dent has been New Mexico's best guard this year, but little to show for it tonight. And the Aztecs have a 9-point lead.
Welcome back to Viejas. Aztecs up 9. I want to go back to the last Lobo defensive possession. This is Jalen House guarding Lamont Butler. Watch this pass go in, and the cut is made. This is Donovan Dent's help. He is the backside help. He needs to be inside the lane. Instead, it's Jalen House, who's kind of a high-risk reward player defensively. They leave wide open Lamont Butler. That's way too long of a closeout. And Jalen House has his hands up, looking at it like, that has got to be clearly schemed. Who has the cut and where you have to be? You cannot leave Lamont Butler, who's strong side. It's too easy of a pass.
Richard Pitino trying to sort out this one right now, down by 9, as you mentioned, Casey. By the way, that 3 for Butler got him to 900 points in his career. Jaden Ledee on the inbound left that short. Now we'll see New Mexico set up their offense. It's Baker, way deep, able to get it.
Jamal Baker, who's now on his 4th program in 6 years. He is the oldest player in the Mountain West Conference at 25 years old. Has been battling injuries the last several years, but he came to New Mexico to try and help them as a bench player reach the NCAA tournament.
Ball comes loose. All of a sudden, here's New Mexico on a break in a 2-possession game. House going to fire left elbow, likes the mid-range, can't get that. Offensive board to Amsil. A lot of contact as he goes to the ground. Trying to extend this New Mexico run after Baker just knocked down a big 3.
This New Mexico team is not very good at shooting the 3. They don't take a lot. They don't make a lot. But the guy they do bring off the bench that could change it with his jump shot is Jamal Baker. And he's got deep range. And a complimentary player. And I talked about his age. Coming out of high school, his high school class was 2017. And he was a top 80 ranked recruit. And he was playing with a lot of talent. This is 25-year-old, second oldest player in the entire country.
So they're looking at this last play on what happened underneath with Saunders and Amsil, maybe to see if there's going to be a hook and hold here. Going to be what they're evaluating. And this was the play underneath where Saunders and Amsil got tangled up. They called it on the floor a common foul on Saunders, which is his 3rd.
Certainly wasn't a hook and hold. I wonder if the other thing they might be looking at is if Amsil swung an elbow and made contact with somebody in the head or neck area. Yeah. I mean, their arms do get tangled, but it certainly wasn't a hook and hold before the shot goes up. And you're just like,
just trying to look for the contact afterwards once the whistle was called, maybe to see if Saunders did any extension there. I don't know that there was much.
Well, it just gives the fans here at Viejas a chance to go into a chant.
Well, a fan base that was rocking in the first half, you can sense it right now. New Mexico is slowly but surely creeping back into this game.
They're getting a little nervous, but this is so big for both of these teams. The stakes couldn't be higher for 2 Mountain West teams that are deadlocked. The same record, 8-4 in conference play so far. If you take a look at New Mexico's resume in the tournament.
See what they have done. 3 quad 1 wins already. I mean, their net is 22, and that's going to be the metric the committee is going to be most focused on as far as where the seeding goes. And Mike DeCourcy does a great job, has him as an 8 seed right now, already 20 wins on the season. New Mexico looks like in all the way.
Yes.
I know some people have said bubble. They're in all the way. And you look at the top 6, especially in the Mountain West Conference, you can make a case for all 6 of these teams right now. Even Nevada, who is picking up some steam right now, and even San Diego State, another team, again, in the national final a season ago, got off to a bit of a slow start in conference play, but trying to get their 20th win of the season. Right now, Mike DeCourcy sees them as a 6.
Yeah, four top quad one wins is fantastic. And this is a team that no one wants to play. We're going to get a word from the officials here.
So in a 6-point game, San Diego State 47-41. So the officials are saying there's going to be a double contact here, essentially offsetting. So no free throws either way, but there was double contact at the end of that.
On both number threes. So white number 3 and red number 3 was the word.
That would be True Washington for New Mexico and Micah Parrish for San Diego State. And again, that was away from the action.
Yeah, it was. But I'm still unclear why that took 5 minutes to sort out.
Jalen House. Dangerous pass gets through to Washington. Washington gets to the bucket and scores.
And one of the things I noticed about True Washington, who is a freshman, he drives with reckless abandon. Like, he doesn't care if he's going to fall flat on his face or on his head. He drives in ready to score, doing whatever he's got to do. What an athlete.
San Diego State's led by as many as 13. That's been cut to 4. Trammell open for 3 and hits it. The most outstanding player in the West Regional last year. Nose clutch. That one stops the New Mexico run. Amseal now rejected.
And Miles Bird, his second block of the game.
Trying to feed Ledee.
That was an awful pass.
Stop and pop. House in transition, no. Still fighting for it. Butler calls a timeout. And San Diego State hangs on to the basketball and the momentum after that Trammell 3.
One of the biggest differences in college basketball versus NBA is the scrums. Get on the floor. You're not going to see this at the next level, are you?
Seven-point game here at Viejas. San Diego State leading New Mexico here on the Aztecs' home floor. How about Jaden Ledee? I mean, this guy looks like a defensive lineman in a combo block every time down the floor.
Boy, he's one of the best post players in the country. He's good on both the right and the left blocks, but what we're really showing you here is how efficient he is. The best of Jaden Ledee in the post is in the middle. When he gets 2 feet in the middle of the lane, you can do nothing with him because you can't double team him. And his physique reminds me of another former college basketball player, Julius Peppers. And yes, Julius Peppers played at North Carolina. I played against him in the tournament and lost him. Julius Peppers then goes on to become an all-pro defensive player in the NFL for the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe Jaden Ledee could also become a defensive end all-pro. I wouldn't put it past him.
Forgive me, I thought that was a Casey Jacobson gym photo right there.
No, not at all.
Peppers. By the way, congratulations to Peppers for getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame just this past week.
You thought I hit the tanning booth a little bit, huh?
Waters going to bring the ball up. Now to Trammell.
There's still a lot to be decided in this game. As good as San Diego State has looked at times, New Mexico's made enough shots and been competitive on the glass. And they're in kind of a funky matchup zone right now.
Powell trying to absorb the contacts. Couldn't get it. It's going to be New Mexico basketball. One thing of note, Jamal Mashburn, who is, again, 15 points a game, was the leading scorer in the Mountain West last year, is 0 for 7 tonight. We have not seen him hardly at all here in the second half.
It's a good point. In the 12 Mountain West games that Jamal Mashburn has played, he's attempting only 12 shots a game. That's the fewest since his freshman year. So he's taking less and making room for other guys.
Freshman mistake by Toppin.
Look at Ledee trying to post in that middle area. There it is.
Spins right around Toppin and gets fouled from the help side. But as good as Jamal Mashburn Jr. has been, just has not been his night tonight.
And he's coming off that heroic final minutes in Lobo's road win against Nevada. They don't win that game without him. Donovan Dent drove baseline with about 30 seconds to go, and New Mexico was down 2, and Dent found Jamal Mashburn Jr. in the corner. He drills it, and they steal a game from Nevada, a game in which Nevada had to have. They are squarely now the Wolfpack on the bubble because of it.
And there's Jamal Mashburn Jr. right there. Want to come back into this game.
Yeah, he's not in the game right now. It's interesting. He's stretching on the baseline. Wonder if something's bothering him.
During the shoot-around today, you kind of noticed rubbing his shoulder a little bit. It didn't look like anything severe. But you wonder if there was any kind of carryover into tonight from that. Here's House. Trying to put the Lobos on his back. Finds Washington. Corner 3. Missed everything. Top and second chance. No whistle. San Diego State's going to take over.
Wow, what a rebound by J.T. Toppin. Not a great finish. He rushed it, but he ripped that ball over the top of 2 Aztec guys. He is really impressive. He's going to be a problem for every front court player in the Mountain West for years to come.
So Dent back on. Another 15-point-a-night scorer who's only had 2 points in this game. Here's Trammell. Waters. Trammell hit a big 3 a moment ago. It's Amsil up. 10 to shoot now for Waters. Powell. Reverse. Powell, your friend, gets 2.
Really nice drive to the baseline. You see how Jaden Ledee held off his defender, which allowed Powell the easy look.
Baker rattles out. Amsil offensive rebound. Put back no. But the Aztecs can't hang on. Lobos getting it back. We got ourselves a battle here in the Mountain West. West Coast basketball at its finest. Jalen House, Brian Dutcher, the stars shining. And we got a good ball game. 9 points. Aztecs up. The biggest day in racing just got bigger as Grand Marshal Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will kick off the Daytona 500. The Great American Race returns Sunday at 2:30 Eastern, only on Fox. So before that last break, it was this play where Toppin got the rebound. A lot of contact, no call, and Richard Pitino, none too pleased about the matter, had words for the officials and ends up picking up a technical during that last timeout. So it's going to be 2 shots for San Diego State, but New Mexico will be getting the ball coming out of it. Jalen House was holding back his coach, usually is the other way around.
Jalen House is the voice of peace in this confrontation. Yeah, Richard Pitino, he'd been barking for a few minutes. Yeah, he was asking for it. Sometimes coaches are okay with taking a tee to kind of fire up their team and draw a line in the sand. Not sure on the road, though, in this situation with New Mexico now down double digits, if this is the right thing.
I was just about to say, it's one thing to do that at home. It's different when you're on the road. And ever since New Mexico got it to 4, San Diego State has now responded on an 8-0 run in the last 2.5 minutes as Waters makes it a 9-0 run.
Yeah, but I want to stick up for Richard Pitino, man. What he's been able to do in his 3 seasons here in New Mexico has been awesome. It's been a steady climb for this program from 13 wins in his first year on the job to 22 wins last year, but fell short of the NCAA tournament, to a 20-5 record and on track to make the tournament. That's well done.
New Mexico's the kind of team that is plenty capable of climbing back in this game as Amsil fires a 3. He'll get 3 free throws here. But for many years now in the Mountain West, Viejas Arena has been a graveyard for opposing teams.
And here, watch Jay Powell getting a little too close. You got all, yep, that's an easy one. You have to allow the 3-point shooter to jump up and come down. Safe landing, he doesn't. So funny, J-Pal's looking at the Jumbotron trying to see the replay, which didn't exist when I played. Like, if a bad call and you immediately look up at the board to see the replay, whether it was a foul or not.
It's also the 4th foul on Powell.
Yeah.
Which is significant. With 11-12 to go in this ballgame. So Amsil will go to the line, has been a different player in conference after, quite frankly, struggling in the non-conference part of the season. They thought he was going to be the 4-man. JT Toppin comes out of nowhere. Amsil struggles, and well, that question got answered rather quickly, but Amsil's done a good job to fight back.
It's a good point, Trent. They didn't really know. You mentioned it before. They didn't know what they had in JT Toppin. They thought, all right, we're going to bring this freshman along slowly. We brought Mustafa Amsil, the Dayton transfer, into. Look at him on his free throw. Do you see it? Amsil, it was lined up way to the right. Normally, guys line up in the middle, right? Or they put their right foot forward if they're a right foot shooter, right in the middle of the lane. He was a good 2 feet to the right.
Yeah, that's like an elbow jumper right there. Now Amsil gets a takeaway. Poked it away from Ledee. Here comes House. To Dents. That's a goaltend. So Bird has got 3 blocks, a career best. Tried to make it 4, but that was on its way down, and New Mexico gets 2 points.
But this was called on the shot, though. So that's the foul there and a goaltend. So he's going to get 1 shot to make this a 3-point play. That was the right call, too. Miles Bird trying to get his 3rd block of the game.
And if you're Donovan Dent, who was 1 for 7 before that last take, it doesn't matter if it's a goaltend, whatever. Just something to go. And they're reviewing it right now to see if it was, in fact, a goaltend. And then we'll see if the 2 will go, and it'll be an and 1 chance, or maybe we'll see if we're shooting 2 free throws.
Yep, there's the foul. And this, to me, is an easy one. And Mike Reed on the baseline. Not much contact. They did call the foul on Trammell, though. To my understanding, they did call a foul on Darion Trammell. He's got 4. And it was on the shot if they did call that foul. So just the only thing I'm going to add to this, trend is in college basketball, the continuation rule does not exist. So it doesn't matter if you pick up the basketball and are on your way to the rim. You have to be going up into your upward motion of a shot for the basket to be counted. And they are going to count this one.
Pretty clear that's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't think this is really a foul on Darion Trammell, first of all. Like, where's the I don't think he really gets him there. But if they do call a foul, it was definitely on the upward motion of the shot.
And it was definitely a goaltend.
Oh yeah, I don't even think that was a question. Is that what they were reviewing? That to me was super easy. No, that ball, as long as it even just breaks the plane of the cylinder of the rim, that's a goaltend.
Donovan Dent trying to jumpstart his night, gets the 3-point play with the goaltend, and when New Mexico has silenced the run, and all of a sudden back in this thing. Donovan Dent to the basket, has a couple of free throws coming his way.
Now, Lamont Butler just floated that one to Never Neverland. Just a lollipop pass, and New Mexico Lobos feast on plays like this. The difference between these 2 teams defensively, watch this pass from Lamont Butler. There's way too much air on that. That's got to be an over-the-head rocket pass. The difference between these 2 teams defensively, San Diego State, they play a physical man-to-man. They don't deny you. They're not really trying to create turnovers. They just want to be physical and kind of put you in a box. New Mexico, on the other hand, they're flying around trying to create steals and block shots.
So New Mexico had gone, San Diego State had gone on a 9-0 run over 2.5 minutes. New Mexico has answered with an 8-0 run in all of 24 seconds. Just like that, a 5-point game. Here's Butler now, trying to atone, and does.
Yeah, straight line drive, too. No help there. Interesting that 8-0 run before it was ended there by Lamont Butler came after Richard Pitino's technical foul. You know, it could go either way. Yeah. Sometimes it can galvanize a group, and otherwise it can go sideways on you. And certainly New Mexico's responded.
Turnover by House on the collision.
Watch these guys run into each other. No, I think Donovan did kick that ball. What a weird play that was.
Amsil and Ledee both go down, and they're going to call this on Ledee, and Brian Dutcher can't believe it.
If Amsil doesn't fall to the ground, this is a play on. But because he falls to the deck, you have to call it, and I don't think this would have been a foul. You can hear what the crowd thinks of this.
They just showed it on the board here.
That's a flop for sure.
The intensity picking up here in San Diego.
Lamont Butler.
Toppin going to work.
Well, Lamont Butler's really strong, but he's given up about 6 inches to JT Toppin, and got to have a double team. Lamont Butler's got to be loud and vocal about that mismatch.
Waters coughs it up. House gets his pocket picked. Lobo save it, and then House draws the contact.
JT Toppin in the post. If you're going to switch Aztecs defensively and you're going to have your point guard on Toppin, you better get a double team. And they trust Lamont Butler, maybe a little bit too much there. The freshman takes the junior to school. The senior, excuse me.
House at the line. New Mexico as a team tonight, 11 steals. That's more than their average of almost 9.5 a game, which already is 15th best in the country.
Yeah, I mean, they lead the Mountain West in blocks and steals. And they're trying to become just the 5th Mountain West team to do that in the 25 years of this conference's history.
Just like that, it is a one-possession game.
This has a similar feeling to that Nevada game where New Mexico was trailing, but they hung around.
Saunders through the lane, no. Toppin chases it down. Here's Mashburn back in. Ten to shoot. House gonna fire up top. Big rebound for Bird.
Yeah.
And then a foul on Ledee, who gets tangled up with Amsil underneath.
So, Trent, I agreed with this one. I disagreed with the one before. I thought Amsil flopped a couple possessions before, but this one was a lot easier. Jaden Ledee fully extends. Watch here, left arm, completely extends it. The referees have no choice there.
Now New Mexico can tie it with a 3. Donovan Dent in traffic misses. Ledee gets the rebound and now will lead the break. Gotta watch out for House. Brian Dutcher saying, just find the guard. And now another foul on the post. And this one's going to be on Amsil as Ledee and Amsil are trading blows every trip down the floor.
And Richard Patino's like, thumbs up, man. Here's Amsil just kind of flopping a little bit and really trying to be dramatic while he's guarding the post, making sure that Jaden Ledee's advances are known to the officials. It's a hard job, but look, Amsil's got to kind of dig in a little bit and be a little more physical than that.
So that puts San Diego State in the double bonus. Check that, the bonus misses that free throw.
Wow, watch the speed of House.
Taken away by Butler. Butler to the basket. Lays it in. Mashburn still can't get it. Toppin second chance, no.
Jamal Mashburn Jr. completely avoided any sort of contact. He had a strong side finish, and instead he turns it into a fall-away layup. He's just been off sync tonight.
You have to wonder if maybe Mashburn is playing through something here. Butler turns on the Jets. A lot of contact from Toppin. Butler's going to the line.
Well, Jalen House is quick and fast and unbelievable, but Lamont Butler knows him well and beats him on that battle. The Euro step, Lamont Butler, the senior, trying to pull away are the Aztecs.
When San Diego State and New Mexico get together, you know it's going to be about defense, toughness, grittiness, and competitive level. We have gotten all of that at Viejas Arena tonight as Brian Dutcher's defensive-led team is in the top 10 in defensive efficiency this year, and that is something that's no stranger to this program.
Yeah, there are only 3 programs in the country that have been in the top 25 of defensive efficiency over the last 5 seasons. Kansas, Houston, and San Diego State, and they're showing you why again tonight. They're always so consistent in this area. They've been all over the place, creating havoc for New Mexico, especially Donovan Dent, Jamal Mashburn Jr., and Jalen House here in the second half. The Lobos are shooting just 32% overall and just 4 of 18 from 3. You rarely get an open opportunity, especially here at Viejas Arena when you play against the Aztecs.
Casey, you brought up such a good point earlier. This is the kind of team. Tonight, they're getting steals and blocks, but that's not really their game. They just play tough, hard-nosed, man-to-man, in-your-face defense.
I call it stuff you in a closet style man-to-man. That's what they do. They shrink your space. If you think you have a driving gap, think again. They close it faster than any team that you will watch outside of probably the Houston Cougars, coached by Kelvin Sampson. I think the Houston Cougars are the best man-to-man defensive team that I have seen in college basketball this season. If you haven't watched them play, treat yourself to that. They're incredible.
Here's Donovan Dent. 5 of 7 in the second half. Anseal drawing the double. Extra pass. Mashburn. Still scoreless.
I'm not sure why Donovan Dent and Jamal Baker both passed up open shots. They are both better three-point shooters, at least statistically, than Jamal Mashburn Jr. They got to be aggressive there.
New Mexico, you see the numbers, 4 of 19 from behind the arc tonight. Led Heidi a bit, got it to Saunders, who missed. Through all of that, New Mexico is hanging around. Junior Joseph playing with 4 fouls.
Nice.
Right around Saunders. No whistle. And Anseal gets the rebound putback.
Yeah, so even though Junior Joseph doesn't get that shot to go, a beautiful quick spin to the baseline. He's kind of raw around the basket and doesn't have great touch.
That bucket just ended a 3-minute scoring drought. Parrish 3. No offensive rebound. Heidi. Second chance coming for San Diego State.
He's been effective in his limited minutes, Heidi.
Seven seconds for Saunders up top. Buries the 3.
Saunders only averaged 6 minutes a game last year as a freshman, which is understandable. Oh, look at Dent.
Yeah, Dent, the crossover gets him right through traffic, through the lane to the basket. Timeout called by New Mexico. They have 2 left. San Diego State also with 2 timeouts remaining.
Elijah Saunders, he's a 3-point shooting forward. This is the shot he wants. He doesn't want to bang that low on the block. More than half of his shots come from 3. That's his 23rd 3-point make of the season. And where has this been? Donovan Dent, the hang time, and that's the type of play that the Lobos have been accustomed to. He's not a 3-point line hunter. He's a attack the rim kind of point guard, and he's just been a non-factor up until now.
2 of the best teams in the Mountain West Conference meeting tonight. Both chasing Utah State. There's a 1-game lead. But a very crowded top of the standings here in the Mountain West. And with all these fouls in the second half, a lot of foul trouble right now, particularly in the post for New Mexico to have Toppin and Junior Joseph. They're starting 4 and 5 with 4 right now. Problematic.
Yeah, why is that, Trent? Because they're all trying to guard Jaden Ladib. You can't guard him without fouling him. I mean, he makes it literally impossible to do that. But yeah, Utah State, only 3 losses in Mountain West Conference play. 2 of those 3 have come to these 2 teams that you're watching right now.
That's Lamont Butler, the hero of the Final Four last year. San Diego State, Micah Parrish up top. Saunders hit a 3 a moment ago. Can he get another? Yes, he can!
Nelly Jr. Joseph needs to know who he is guarding. He is not guarding Ledee. He's guarding a three-point shooter, a mistake.
And a turnover by Amsu. Aztecs have numbers. Saunders! Goods layup! And throws it down! And House can't get the silencer either. Second chance coming. Baker now. Another miss.
And they can't buy a 3 in this one. Well, Saunders breaking this game open here.
Elijah Saunders has just erupted Viejas Arena. Bird to the basket, no. And House throws it away. Miscommunication. But Elijah Saunders feeling it first. It was the threes, and then the throwdown.
Oh, I didn't see this coming. It was a pretty good pass from Miles Bird here. And a one-hand finish. I mean, he made that look easy, folks. That is difficult to do on the run. Catch it, keep it in one hand. The show appreciates it.
An 8-0 Elijah Saunders run has given San Diego State an 11-point lead. The Aztecs feeling it. Saunders making this arena come alive as Saunders gets the throwdown. Elijah Saunders taking matters into his own hands here on his home floor. San Diego State up 11 on a personal 8-0 run.
Yeah, I always feel like role players, especially young role players, Elijah Saunders is just a sophomore, they play better at home where they feel more comfortable. The crowd is into it. And Saunders is a one-man wrecking crew the last couple of minutes. San Diego State has 25 bench points. Elijah Saunders has almost half of them. He's got 12 in this one.
New Mexico had it down to 3 a moment ago, but they've gone cold. They missed 8 of the last 10 and find themselves back down 11, running out of time with 4:21 to go here in Viejas. It was the Lobos who have handed San Diego State their only loss here in this building in the last 35 games. It was New Mexico who beat these Aztecs at the pit a month ago, and now San Diego State back with a vengeance. But a missed 3.
San Diego State's run that same play about 5 or 6 times, and it's been really good to them. They continue to get wide open threes on it.
Toppin in traffic gets it.
And remember, Jay Powell's got 4 fouls. JT Toppin, man, keep going to him.
Powell 4, Toppin 4. Junior Joseph's on the bench, has 4. A lot of foul trouble in the bigs. Ledee.
You can hit that.
Mid-range money.
It's an unorthodox release, but it goes in. He is very good in the mid-range.
His 14th 20-point game this season has just extended the Aztec lead to 11.
He shoots 46% in the mid-range on the season. That includes jumpers like this. It also includes like jump hooks in the lane. And for a big guy, 46% from mid-range is excellent.
Donovan Dent, who really couldn't get anything going in the first half, trying to pick it up in the second. Can make this free throw and get it to a single-digit disadvantage, but
what's interesting, you see Donovan Dent's numbers, 3 for 10. He had his worst shooting game in the first matchup. The Lobos won that game, but Donovan Dent was just 1 for 8 from the field. So that's a combined 4 for 18 for Donovan Dent in his 2 games against the Aztecs so far. I think that math was right. I was told we weren't going to be doing live math.
You're the Stanford guy.
Yeah, that was my worst subject. Whoa.
Powell throws it away. It's well defended by Washington, but an errant pass is free possession for the Lobos.
Oh, look at that. 20 turnovers for San Diego State. Wow.
Really uncharacteristic for this team. House going to launch. And he hits a three, and just like that, New Mexico still hanging on to life.
The turnovers are just brutal. You're trying to close out a game, and you're turning the ball over. You're giving the other team confidence, and don't let Jalen House get a rhythm right now.
Trammell coast to coast. Just beat House to the basket.
A lot of dribbling.
And then he copped it up.
Yep. But that ball stayed on one side, and Donovan Dent dribbled it probably 10 times. The defense had to do very little work to create a steal there.
Last two trips, very ISO heavy for the Lobos as Viejas Arena is on their feet. All alone, Parrish.
Simple basketball, Trent. San Diego State, offensively, they're making simple reads. New Mexico, on the other hand, they're making it difficult on themselves.
And that may have just been the dagger. A takeaway there. Ledee poked it loose. Waters picks it up. Little over 90 seconds with San Diego State up 11 on their home floor. Trying to remain perfect here at Viejas on the season. Ledee, the finishing touch. The largest lead of the night. As San Diego State has stepped on the Lobos down the stretch.
And Darion Trammell has been the catalyst in this last little run here. Watch him keep Jalen House on his hip pocket, right to the bucket. And then here, watch the simple read. If you're going to close out on Jaden Ledee, make the extra one to Micah Parrish. And then here again, whoa, that one was a difficult pass, made look easy. A bowling ball through the lane, and Jaden Ledee with a nice touch and a hammer.
So with that, Trammell picks up his fifth. He fouls out, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists tonight.
Yeah, he's heated, and I'm actually with him. I didn't comment on that last foul, but that was a tough blocking foul that Trammell just fouled out on. But he did his work. He did his job, and now the rest of his teammates got to close out this last 1 minute and 18 seconds.
Trying to protect a 13-point lead with, like you said, 1:18 to go. We have seen two of the best teams in the Mountain West on display tonight. New Mexico didn't exactly get their best out of their backcourt, but it's tough to win here in San Diego, and San Diego State proving why this is one of the best home courts in the country. And all of a sudden, San Diego State, the team that was in the national championship game a year ago, could be within a half game of Utah State. And a season split with New Mexico.
And now, if this result holds, New Mexico's going to drop to 20-6, and San Diego State's going to go up to 20-6, and they'll have the same exact record, although the Aztecs will be a game up in the conference race. It seems to me, Trent, that each year San Diego State, they lose a couple of games early on in the Mountain West Conference schedule. But like Brian Dutcher, they go back into the lab, and this team gets better week by week in the conference season like no other team maybe in America. It's really impressive.
And in so many ways, it starts on the defensive end, where you look at what Brian Dutcher's team had defensively early in the year. It was tough on his guys, had some near misses against some mid-major programs in non-conference, and all of a sudden, San Diego State has become San Diego State. Powell takes the ball away, and now a minute to go for San Diego State to defend their home floor, and the love is being felt for the home Aztecs here at Viejas from this crowd.
Is there going to be any Mountain West team this year that's going to come into this building and beat this team?
Butler with 5 to shoot. Gets the touch roll. 13 for Butler. San Diego State, 81 points. The highest total for them offensively in conference yet. And the boos for House on a night that's been dominated by the Aztecs. Mashburn gets his first points with 18.1 seconds left. 13-point game down to 11. And now San Diego State can hold. Casey, we said it at the top. The Mountain West still goes through Viejas Arena, and San Diego State holds down their home court. They beat New Mexico 81-70.
Man, I love Mountain West hoops. I love this particular conference race. Utah State, San Diego State, amongst the best. Those two teams played 2 weeks ago, and San Diego State beat them. I could do this again. Let's run it back. Let's go right now.
Mountain West Hoops delivers on a Friday night, and that's going to do it for us from San Diego. Thanks for watching here on FS1. Now let's get you to Daytona to join the ARCA Series race already in progress.